Kusampo, this is Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. I'm Bukam. Our top stories this week. A landslide kills 10 cordyceps collectors and injures 5 others in Laya. The government continues to look for vaccines as the time for the second dose closes in. And June17 pilots child protection teams in schools and communities. A landslide in the wee hours on Thursday killed 10 cordyceps collectors from Laya. It washed away the tents the deceased were living in. All the bodies have been recovered. Also, 5 others were severely injured during the incident. They were evacuated by air to the Jikmidoji Wangchuk National Referral Hospital in Thimphu.
As per the preliminary reports, the incident happened at around 1 a.m. at Ridupji, which is located between Laya and Lingji. Among the deceased, 3 were men and the rest were women aged between 18 and 45 years. One of the collectors reported the incident to the Laya GUP by phone around an hour after the mishap. Search and rescue operations were immediately initiated. According to the Laya Gyok administration, 19 Tesups, including its Mangmi, are on their way to Ritupshi. They are expected to reach the site later tonight. Sources said there were around 20 to 30 people living at the campsite. They had temporarily settled in the area since last month collecting cordyceps. They were bound to return home in a day or two following a month-long collection period. Meanwhile, the 5 people who were evacuated to the National Referral Hospital are said to be in a stable condition. For Changadojin Punakha, Sonamongdi, PBS News.
The Pendant Cement Authority's Chief Executive Officer says it is premature to blame the company for the COVID-19 outbreak in June17 Samtsi. June17 or Phuntsabari Gewok has seen over 30 positive cases since the first 2 cases on 6th June. People in June18 allege that the outbreak would not have happened if self-containment measures were put in place at the company.
The first 2 cases from June18 were both women unloaders of the company. The company imports coal, gypsum and cement clinker, and these raw materials are brought directly into the plant for unloading. In a telephone interview, the PCAL CEO Tenzin, who is also the Geo COVID-19 Task Force Incident Commander, said, "Most unloading work is mechanized. The unloaders work to scrape off remaining raw materials from the truck floor, which is disinfected first, so they don't have much exposure to Indian drivers coming in." However, people the BBS talked to says given the risks, loaders and unloaders should have been kept in a self-contained facility and not let out after their shift. 11 of the 14 unloaders tested positive so far. The PCAL CEO says the industries cannot operate in a self-contained mode with many employees. All 16 companies in the Gyok do not operate in self-containment. The CEO added, "We have been following the same protocol since the first day of the pandemic. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the protocol has been in existence. It applies to all companies in the country. No revision of protocols has been done so far. The companies only operate in self-containment during lockdowns." According to the CEO, despite not operating in self-containment, stringent safety and security measures are in place. The CEO said the workers are made to wash and change clothes immediately after their shifts. They use face masks and rubber boots. Their soaps and the police monitor the entire operation. Key employees are tested every week while rest of the employees are tested at random. Meanwhile, the 2 women tested positive on the 7th day of their shift. The women were at home during the lockdown in Samtsi from 13th to 27th May. They resumed their shift on 29th May. On 4th June, the 2 women were tested and their results came positive on 6th June. In June18, with more cases being detected and the number of primary contacts increasing, the PCAL's hall has been converted into an isolation ward. The vegetable market in June18 is also being converted into a quarantine facility which would house close to 100 people. It will be ready in the next 3 days. The initial plan was to evacuate all positive cases and primary contacts from June18 to Samtsi and Phuntsholing. Komtu has a quarantine facility to cater to only routine travelers. Sharaf Doji, BBS News, Samti.
The Health Ministry received more than 36 million ngutam from the SARC Development Fund as part of the COVID-19 emergency grant. This is the first portion of the grant of over 73 million ngutam. The ministry says the grant will be used for preparedness and response against the COVID-19 pandemic.
A check of $500,000 or over 36 million ngutam was handed over as first part of the grant amount. The SDF, or the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation Development Fund, will also be giving the grant to its other member countries based on their project proposals. According to the SDF, the support is expected to help fight the COVID pandemic and protect the people of the region during these difficult times. For Bhutan, the grant will be particularly used to strengthen COVID-19 response and surveillance.
We will be strengthening the ICU facilities in Mongar hospitals with equipments and all that, and also some fund will also be used for training our health workers in response to COVID-19. And apart from that, we will be also using that for some buying of test kits for surveillance purposes and other activities related to COVID-19 preparedness response.
He added, it is vital to ensure that the project grant is efficiently utilized.
Now we receive 50%, and also 50% will be given to us once we finish implementing the grant mula. So having said that, we are also told that if we can implement this project properly, and there is an opportunity for us to apply for future grant also.
The grant was approved by the SDF board last year as the COVID-19 emergency grant to the SARC member states. The SARC Development Fund and the Health Ministry signed the Project Financing Agreement, or PFA, in Thimphu recently. According to the SDF, the office has received project proposals from 7 of its 8 member states. This is Sringdandu, BBS News.
The government is confident of giving the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine on time, and that would be by August. The Foreign Minister said this during the National Assembly while responding to a question on the status of vaccines, medical equipment and other amenities amid the pandemic.
The Foreign Minister said many countries and institutions are willing to help Bhutan.
chona mangsla mela multilateral gi te chukde sugi khatule byaba chen yupchi saya nija gupchu ko chi de chi te japchur thopchi ise shuni be la ti laluchi mangil gi tholebe te laluchi chache gi tholebe thopchi ise shuni be te ta nga chara zungchok bilateral gi te gyakhap nga che du gyakhap nyamchi lejimbe thula mimi sugi khatulebe te saya sumja dunchu dunchi de chi
And efforts continue to get vaccines on time.
Japan, Denmark, USA,
Along with Covishield, the government is hopeful of acquiring the Pfizer vaccine, which will immunize children aged between 12 and 17. The first dose of vaccine cost around 220 million ngutam, which was supported by India. Today marks 12 weeks after the country administered the first dose on 27th March. Kinzang Haden, BBS News.
The National Assembly agreed to review and regularize the consolidated contract employees to regular contract employees. Today there are some 3,700 consolidated contract employees. The Speaker said the government will now have to discuss with the Royal Civil Service Commission and see the possibility.
Most of the National Assembly members agreed that there is a disparity between regular and consolidated contract employees. MP Choki Gelson said the consolidated contract employees do not get incentives, pension and provident funds, yearly increments, loans from banks and other benefits like the regular contract employees. As per the civil service rules and regulations, a consolidated contract is time-bound and the employees do not get a contract allowance. He said the consolidated contract employees were employed to solve short-term human resources requirement. However, most of them were serving for more than 5 years.
So this way, it is not as per the policy. Then we also felt that this way we need to at least reform and we need to change their status. The work is not differentiated among the regular and then the contract. And that's why I think we also feel that they are underpaid. And then moreover, this consolidated contract system was incepted from 2016. Before it was not there. So that's why we strongly feel that they should do something more about the reform is going on. We thought at least RCC could look into it.
마쇼치그라 나투섬 시대발 나제 중총기 카툴레 티티 켈랑 배고 미세 십설 마지바친 켈랑 배고 미세 켈랑디라 나치기 다치 주르체 베게세 나치기 라열 행각이 올로 카밥디스 가라 라열 행각이 올로 쭈시나베 나치기 하니게 베 주르체 베게세 나치 헤물라 데베 칼랍디베라 나치 켈랑 수치 이세 슈니베이라.
But the House passed the motion. Choni Dama for BBS News.
The third unit of the Mangdechu hydropower project is expected to be repaired within the next 3 months, according to the Finance Minister. The unit of the 720 megawatt project completely shut down in September last year. There are 4 units at the project.
According to the national budget for the financial year 2021 to 2022, Mangdechu earned over 12 billion item last year. However, the report stated that the Mangdechu project could have earned more had it not been for the unit which suffered major failures during the year. The eminent member Dashutashi Wangil said the national budget shows that Mangdechu project's third unit has suffered 8 major failures in a span of 17 months starting from July 2019. And it resulted in a revenue loss of more than 1.3 billion item since commissioning.
슝기혼레 배워친 아니기 딱 마디오 만대추기 추 암 숨바기 딱 마디오디 남 조창가 세위기 디와 땅바디라 니바세오달로 때 슝기혼레 베테 추차 코트 베미기 legal bells lapimel parathebi electrical dilutet ngachiragi tet kengen genengi chachenda thidera tet khonlu kenkhuda genti gadebe kenigi charshi yebena sela.
The finance minister said that an independent review team is formed to study the problem.
맵주미디 때 대가르베마 조준 레데기 자식이 퓨처는 때 추말에 된데베 맵주주 이미나 태카르뱅아 저기야 라렌탑도 맵주주임이나 겔딘 베오달로 맵주주임이나디 데 카세비시네기 때문에 인디펜던트 리뷰 팀 지투티베 위에 세션이라 다 카치워랑 저기 ken고미디 다투기네 세칼로디 the defect liability the contractual defect liability 킹인 겔린기 데 듀인날로 예티베로라 등아 저기 다투기날로 리티게이션날로 수답로지베 배워진 데 쯔뉴 수답로지베워진 다타루 드스나메스메 바정밀리니메라.
The National Budget Report, prepared by the Finance Ministry, further says that if the unit is not repaired before or during the upcoming monsoon, the government is going to lose about 1.8 billion item in revenue this year. The minister, however, said that despite the losses, the project has made enough revenue to pay off loans of more than 4 billion item this year. Samtan Dolkar, BBS News.
Teenage pregnancies in the country are on the rise. One of the interventions is to increase the legal age for marriage. The Foreign Minister Dr. Tandi Dochi, who is also the chairperson of the National Commission for Women and Children, said today pregnancies at the age of 18 and 19 are considered lawful as it lies within the legal age of marriage, which is 18.
From more than 300 teenage pregnancy cases recorded last year, more than half of them are between the age of 18 and 19. According to the WHO, teenage pregnancy is when a girl under 19 becomes pregnant.
소기 카툴레 베바친 로치구 마타기 베바친 때 녀카 유스 슈니비 알루키오데 타마두유 아이다 알루루라 니샬루라 때 소기 녀카 유브만세 때 타마두 알루키 갑루 알루키 소기 슈루 타마두레 샤치라 튠 중수 옵세 슈니베일라 탑션네카 마도 레쇼 유비기 나나레
땡아치레기 년잡니기 깨체디 대야 신급 준비 제오메스 슈니비.
And only 24 cases reached the police last year, and it is a big concern. According to Renew, people are hesitant because of stigmatization. Kinsang Hadin for BBS News.
The recent news of a 12-year giving birth and the alleged rape of an 8-year-old shocked everyone. People started saying children are no longer safe. But this initiative might help address the issue to a certain extent. June17, a civil society organization in collaboration with the Paro district, launched a pilot project to form child protection teams in schools and communities.
It is expected to enhance the protection and reporting of any form of child exploitation. The representatives from the Geoks who will be the members of the child protection team were familiarized with their responsibilities.
Child protection is a collective effort. One man or one organization cannot address this issue. The people in the Geoks and the local communities will be very effective in preventing child exploitations and creating awareness through these teams.
Today, many such cases go unreported, and experts say it will affect the children in the long run. The June17 is also planning to open a youth and children vocational training institute in Paro. The CSO plans to form such teams in every school and Geok across the country. For Namgyonchu in Paro, Samton Dolkar, BBS News.
People of Takaling Geok in Mongar constituency want a candidate who will support them in marketing farm products along with other developments in the Geok. They shared this during the Common Forum recently. The by-election for the National Assembly members of Mongar and Nganglam constituencies will be held on 29th June.
As people listened to the two candidates share their plans, they hoped for a promise of improving access to market and their roads and schools. Today, farmers of Takaling earn good money selling vegetables, fruits and flattened corn. But amid the pandemic, the market has been unpredictable.
We also want a representative who will help maintain the farm roads in our Geowok. Some villages have good roads, but there are others that do not. The candidate should also prioritize improving infrastructure in the school here.
We are looking for a candidate who will support us in providing adequate drinking and irrigation water and good farm roads. At the moment, most farmers are not sure of marketing strategies for various farm products after harvest. Moreover, the school in our Geok is in need of a major facelift.
Both the candidates are aware of the people's needs.
For Takaling
Geok, my pledge, which is not included in the 12th five-year plan, is to reconstruct all the structures of Takaling Primary School. It is one of the oldest primary schools and is in need of some basic infrastructure. Farmers of Takaling are into mass cultivation of various crops, and I promise to support them with marketing.
As most farmers depend on agriculture for livelihood, we must help them in different ways. So I will assist them in selling their farm products. I also plan to set up a small factory for them to generate income and provide an employment opportunity.
As per the by-election schedule, the Common Forum in the 5 Geoks of Mongar constituency will be over by 18th June. For now, the candidates finished the Common Forum and door-to-door campaign in Drepung, Mongar and Takaling Geoks. Mongar constituency has more than 11,000 registered voters. For Sonam Tsering in Mongar, this is Pasung Doji for BBS News.
The residents of Doksum town in Tashyangtsi have till September this year to move to the new township. The deadline was set following a consultative meeting. The Works and Human Settlement Ministry asked the district administration to call for the meeting after the residents wrote to the Prime Minister requesting to extend the town's relocation a few months ago.
At the meeting, despite some reservations, the residents agreed to relocate themselves to the new town within the next 3 months. Meanwhile, the plot owners will have to complete constructing their buildings in the area by June next year. This is the 6th time the deadline has been extended.
The shops have opened in few buildings which are ready, but they said the business is not good since most people continue to do business in the old town. And then there are plot owners who have not completed constructing their buildings in the new area due to the pandemic. Considering all this, we decided to extend the deadline by 3 months.
As of now, construction of 9 buildings have been completed at the new township. A few are under construction, while most are in the initial stages.
At the most, we earn 3,000 yutam in a day. On the other hand, I have to pay around 45,000 yutam as rent. It will be better for us if the entire old town is relocated here. Then we will have more customers.
The rent is too high in the new town. Besides, it is difficult to get a suitable space to run a shop. The location should be next to a road. Today, the monthly rent is at least 30,000 yutam, which we can't afford because we're already facing difficulty in managing the expenditure for constructing a new house in the area.
As per the initial agreement, the residents were supposed to move to the new site by the end of this month. However, they requested for an extension, citing various reasons, including the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, according to the district administration, the blacktopping of roads, construction of drains, and installation of street lights in the new town area will also be ready by September. For Sonam Daje in Tashiangsi, this is Pasong Doji for BBS News.
That's all we have for you for this week. Thank you for joining us.